Hello! Sorry if it's been a while. Just things have been going on in life. I was able to upload that Knives Out video about almost a week after I said I would. Oops. So this one's gonna go relatively quick.
Yeah, you just gotta give it to me to schedule.
No, I want it to
Yeah, I know.
go up as soon as it's done.
I know.
Okay. Sorry. So, enough of our squabbling. We recently saw The Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell, starring Elisabeth Moss. And Leigh Whannell is a guy who's, this isn't his first horror movie. He's dipped his toes into the territory before. He's, helped write the Saw and Insidious movies. His directorial debut was actually directing the third one. And then he did this, little sci-fi action movie a couple years later called Upgrade, which was fun, which I think you'd like.
I don't know this person.
It's fine. And
Just
this,
I don't know any of them.
Yeah, and
really.
it's okay. And this is his third crack at a movie, directing by himself. And it's a take on the old classic Invisible Man story by H.G. Wells, and that's been told a zillion different times before. And it's about this woman who's trying to escape this horrifying abusive relationship from her husband, Adrian. And at first, he looks like he's committed suicide, but she's thinking, nuh-uh, he's not dead. He's not dead.
Actually, at the very beginning of it, she does believe that he's dead.
But then, the more the movie goes on,
a couple things happen that makes her look crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That actually give her the idea he's still alive.
And okay, we should just be outright blunt about this. This movie is awesome.
I love that it was a complete new take on the Invisible Man. Usually, the Invisible Man is someone born with a specific power, or they're experimented on, or something like that gives them the power. This one was more scientific and psychological.
Each previous new iteration of the Invisible Man has been kind of inching more towards the scientific and psychological aspects. So this is almost kind of like the one where it's
this one's fully there.
Yeah, there was a version of the story that came out in 2000 called Hollow Man.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I heard. The second I heard Hollow Man, I'm like, no, not gonna watch it.
It's pretty much the Invisible Man, except it's way more nastier than the original story was, where it's he full on friggin' rapes women and shit. And
well, this one,
that's a pretty nasty movie. And this one actually kind of shares a little bit of similarity with that.
Yes, they open up with this woman being extremely terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And trying all she can to be quiet.
To sneak out of the house. And it's even before the movie and, all the shenanigans happen with the Invisible Man and such, it's already tense.
Yes, right out of the gate. It is whoa, what the fudge did this guy do to her that made her so scared?
And that's another thing that the movie does, is that it doesn't actually show,
No, it doesn't. It doesn't show any of the abuse or psychological BS that happened before that.
But it's all of her reactions are oh God,
this is one seriously, emotionally battered woman. Stockholm Syndrome, almost.
Almost there.
Yeah, just a hair away from Stockholm Syndrome.
And it's just even before, it's even before he even gets into the suit, remember when he punches right through the window?
The first really big moment for that girl is when the dog Zeus comes and wants to go. He wants to go with her.
It's this cute Doberman too.
But she can't. But she tries to take the collar off of him, and then it bumps into the car.
Yeah.
Alarms go off. And this is after she had drugged her boyfriend with diazepam. And I mean a huge amount, so that he's out.
And then the alarms go off, and he just like...
She bolts for it, goes over the... God,
It was like a fence. Like,
it's
not just like a...
out of concrete.
Yeah.
A concrete wall about 10 feet high. And it just has a certain spot where if you can get up just high enough, your foot can sit in it just barely.
Mm-hmm. And then her sister comes and picks her up, and it's like, she's wondering, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, BAM! He punches right through the window, and we were both like, ah!
And then all of a sudden, you just see them running, well, not running,
Yeah.
but the cars
Just zooms on
zooming
by.
away. And the sister has no idea what the hell the guy did to her, and she doesn't even talk to her sister that much, because then it cuts straight to she's at a friend's house, and...
Which, they were a nice family.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just a father and a daughter.
yeah.
And then she has PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's putting it one way.
wicked bad. She can't even step outside of the doorway.
And there's like one moment where it's just like a jogger's just out doing his morning routine. She immediately thinks it's him and just
Bolts for the inside, because the guy that she's staying at his house with his daughter, he told her, I promised your sister I would get you to step out of this house.
Oh, hi, Sophia.
I'm gonna pause this.
All
right.
Yeah, just minor intermission from a dog.
Yes.
And what?
then we were talking about he said to her that he promised her sister that he would get her to step outside of the house. And she tried. She did. And he is so extremely proud of her for getting as far as she did.
Doesn't he say something like, man, you probably traveled half the world just by doing that or something?
Yeah, it's like you just traveled half the world. You're good. You did more than you have since you've been here. And then we see that the sister comes over to give news.
Yeah. He's dead, and he's leaving behind $5 million on one exception. You are mentally fit to handle the money.
Meaning you don't commit any crimes. You are not considered psychologically gone. Meaning you're not in the nut house.
Yeah, which you can probably see where this is going. And It's like, the entire film just like, this is one of those movies where it's like, you can tell that the people making it just like had like these really devilish ideas of how they want to structure scenes. Like just like there are times in this movie where you can tell something bad's about to happen just because the camera just locks in one place.
Yes, and me the entire time, I wasn't focusing on her. I was focusing on around her, the area around.
I love it when horror movies do that, where they just get you to train your eyes and you're like, wait.
Like, after she finds out he's dead and she talks to his brother about the money and all of that, yada yada yada, she sets up a bank account for the girl that she's staying at her father's house so that she can go to a university. And then a knife jiggles and it doesn't fall off of the counter. Like, you don't hear the clank.
Yeah, you just see it just...
But you hear no noise after it disappears.
And then, like there's like a little frying pan over here. And,
a pot or something.
Yeah, and Cecilia,
and then
Elisabeth
all of a
Moss's
sudden
character,
you see...
the knob just turns slightly.
You hear it.
Yeah.
And then you see flames.
Yeah.
Starting.
And it's just such like, it's moments like that just really make the movie just like a good, like, Like
that was a typical horror movie move.
Yeah.
But it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, and then later on, like when he starts to get more aggressive, like remember that bit when she's going up in the attic?
Yes. we'll get to there, because there's a lot.
This is like, as I said, this really is one of those movies where you can tell the director, Leigh Whannell, like he had fun kind of coming up with these like...
Yeah,
he treats, you know, like
He treats
her
each-
plight, you know, sympathetically, deeply.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's also going, this is a horror movie, so I'm gonna have fun.
He treats every single scene like an artist would treat their paint, or like a crocheter treats their stitches, or a sewer treats the seam.
Yeah.
Very meticulous.
And on top of that, he just only did it on a shoestring budget. $7 million.
Okay. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
She's staring at us right under the tripod.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if Kane saw this thing, he'd be freaking out. Oh,
He'd
hi.
be barking.
Should
Woof, woof, woof. Yeah.
Should I bring her up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we gotta pause again.
Sorry for the second interruption. We've been kind of
It
plagued
happens. It's life.
we haven't plagued with these lately. But anyway, like, just as I said, I just had like so much fun with just how much this movie just like how it forces you to really track the screen. And like we were talking about that one bit in the attic when she goes up there.
Because there's that one instance where she is like, she had taken a bag of coffee, spread it all around the floor in her room.
Just to see if he would show up.
Yes. And she had a feeling that he was standing in the doorway where she didn't sprinkle any. And she was talking to him for a while. And then all of a sudden she gets an idea, crawls over to the phone, and dials a number.
That had appeared on her phone just the other day. And she figures out where it's coming from.
No, it was her boyfriend's phone.
Oh, her boyfriend's phone number. And then she goes upstairs and hears it vibrating. And then she goes to see it and she sees the knife from earlier that went missing.
Yeah, along with her sketchbook of architecture.
Yeah.
Because earlier she had gone to a meeting to try and get a job for an architecture job.
And she didn't have any of the papers with her, mysteriously.
And she ended up fainting when it turns out she had been drugged with a shit ton of diazepam.
Which, I also just want to point this out, something I noticed about the guy she was interviewing with the architecture.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was also the director's previous movie, where he was playing a cyborg mercenary. So it's like, I was like, huh, so he went from cyborg mercenary to architecture guy. Okay. But, and then, you know, she's like wondering, where the hell is he? So she grabs a bucket of paint, splashes it down, and what do you know, he's right there.
She has a feeling that he's on the ladder. He's watching me. So she gets close enough, but doesn't let him see that she's grabbing the paint. And then she just splashes it on him, and the next thing you know,
he's right there.
Yeah, and then ladder falls, and there's a paint trail going towards the kitchen.
And then it's been washed off. The movie's just like, it's so much fun just seeing how much all this is just so wonderfully constructed all throughout. And there's also just a bunch of other things I really liked about it. Like the lead actress, Elisabeth Moss, she gives a great bug-eyed, like, just like, I'm not crazy performance, but it's not exaggerated. It's played pretty realistically.
Let's go back to where the ladder had fallen. Let's talk about a series of events from there, because from there it gets better. Actually, no, wait. Before the ladder falls, because after the ladder falls, that's closer to the end.
No, that's right at the beginning.
No.
That's right at the beginning. It was right at the beginning.
No.
I mean, not right at the beginning, but it was in the first act.
It was after the insane asylum.
No.
Yes, I know, because then the little girl is there and then gets attacked.
No, the paint scene happened early on, and then he ends up going to the house at the end to attack them.
It's been a good week since we've seen this.
I remember the events quite well. You can look it up on Wikipedia, okay? Come on.
No.
Alright.
It's been a good week since we've seen this, so we do this every now and then, bicker back and forth, because I'll either forget something or he'll forget something.
But it's just like, this is just like one of those movies where it's like, it's just so much fun to just kind of see how it all plays out. And there was one moment where you walked out at the worst possible time.
Yes, it was just before her sister gets killed.
Yeah. It's like you came in and you were like, "What happened?" I'm like,
Yep.
you know, Adrian.
I see her sister dead,
Yeah.
and I see the knife in her sister's hand, and I'm like, what happened?
And I was like, "Oh, the Invisible Man showed up, grabbed the knife, and just went swing."
Yeah, because I'm not one to sit through a 2-hour movie and not
go use the bathroom.
Yes, because I'm not him. I don't want to take 30 years in the bathroom after a movie.
And it's like, for me, you know, like, when it comes to the movies, I'm just like, nope, I gotta stay here as much as I...
Yeah, there have been, one movie or 2 movies since we started dating that you actually got up in the middle of the movie and left to go pee?
2. Jojo
Dr.
Rabbit.
Sleep was one of them.
No, Dr. Sleep wasn't one of those. The 2 were Midsummer and Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he holds it, and that's not good for your bladder.
But I like to see everything about the movie.
Anyways, then she ends up going to the insane asylum, right?
Yeah. She goes straight to the asylum, and the lawyer shows up doing the whole, you know, like, hey, you know, you're not mentally fit anymore, and then it's revealed he's in on it.
And to top it all off, she's pregnant.
Yeah, it was just...
And how you find out that and that he's in on it is he brings up the baby and then says, all of this can go away if you agree to keep the baby.
Like, that moment was just one of those ones where my jaw was just on the floor. Like, I was just like, oh my god. It was just such a big, like, just like...
I like the trick that she does in the insane asylum to lure him out of hiding in a way. She's talking to his brother, and he's saying, all this can go away if you keep the baby, and you'll continue to get all this money, yada, yada, yada. And the papers go flying. She pushes the papers off of the table, and while he's picking those up, she grabs one of his pens, one of his fountain pens. And that's an important thing to note, is it was a fountain pen.
Yeah,
because
it's really sharp. And what she does is she just goes like, you know, you're not getting this fucking baby. And then she goes into the bathroom, starts
into the
doing
shower, and actually has the shower on to make the blood run faster.
Yeah, and then the Invisible Man shows up and she's like, got you.
And she starts stabbing the suit.
And it's like just this great, like, and then what leads into that is when security shows up.
Yeah.
And what the Invisible Man does to all of them. Like,
yes,
it's just
he goes on a murder spree. But at this point, the special suit that he had
it's been damaged. And it's like creating this
flickering.
Like, yeah.
It's flickering. And it has all these little cameras about the size of a grape
all kind
all
of
over it to reflect the light from every single angle.
He almost kind of looks like a honeycomb monster or something.
Yes, that's actually exactly what it looks like, is someone made a suit out of a black and gray honeycomb.
It's creepy, like...
It is very creepy.
And those noises it makes...
That's only because it's flickering and it's damaged.
Yeah.
And then we get all the way to the part where he's eventually at the house. And this one is not the boyfriend.
No,
he has his brother in on the whole thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to attack the little girl. And how did she stop that? Oh, that's right. The girl had a thing of mace in
Oh,
right
yeah,
next
yeah.
to her
She
bed.
sprays it, like, right on him, and he's like, ah!
And he backs up into something, and she freaks and screams, and he eventually has her on the ground, choking her, and the dad walks in.
And he's trying to help, and he gets the dog shit kicked out of him.
God,
Like,
he's laying on the ground, and you just see his head going. So you know that he's being punched and punched, and even when he's down, he gets punched again and again.
It's such a, like, it's kind of a sadistic movie to an extent with the way how it does its violence, from the throat slashing to what happened to those security guards to that. Like,
yeah,
it definitely shows that this guy wrote the Saw movies.
And all the guards that were left alive, but really, really beat to shit at the asylum, they were just like, oh my god, she's not crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then towards the end, where they're in the house, yada yada yada, all this is going on, she uses
the fire extinguisher from earlier that was used to take out the fire in the kitchen.
Yeah, that was at the beginning of the whole entire thing.
Yeah, and grabs the gun
She tells the little girl, get down, and then she uses it on the guy.
Yeah.
And that just shows him. And
then she grabs the gun from her police friend, just bang, bang, bang.
Yes.
Which you were kind of going like, shoot him in the head too.
I'm like, shoot him again. It's like she fired off like 4 or 5 rounds in the chest, which good. Go, girl. That's where you want to hit, is in the chest, because that's where the lungs and the heart and everything is. But if you're going up close to them, and if you know you have another round, even if you don't know if you have another round.
And she was using a Glock, so those hold a lot of rounds.
Yeah, go for the head. You always want that one final blow in the head.
Is Sophia okay? Okay.
Hang on. Can we see? Yeah, she is.
Okay. Sorry, I was just afraid she might do something on the bed.
She's just sitting there so pretty.
I was afraid she was going to do something on the bed.
She has this bad habit of marking his side of the bed.
Yeah.
Because she loves him.
She did the same thing to your father, too.
She's done it twice to him.
Mm.
But when she did it to my dad, it was in my bed at the old house, and my dad kept forgetting to put her down on the floor, and she'd be on the bed for hours in the morning when she had to wake up and go pee. So, different story.
yeah, sorry for that tangent.
But, and then she removes the mask.
And it turns out, hey, it's the brother. Then afterwards it's revealed, oh no, he was actually... You know.
And she is convinced, yes, that one day at the asylum, that was the brother. But.
And then it turns out, oh, Adrian's been locked away this entire time, and the brother faked his death. But it's like, the movie never really explains whether that's what happened, or if Adrian really is just that much of like a conniving, gaslighting.
Yes, it does.
Oh, really?
Yes, it implies it.
I believed her. I believed her.
I'm
just saying I could see how somebody could view it another way. I know,
but it does actually, in a way, show you that yes, it was him.
Yeah.
Because throughout the entire thing, every now and then he would either text her surprise, or she would hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise. And when it's someone that you've been with for a while, even if they are emotionally beating the shit out of you, you know their voice.
Surprise.
And there was one moment when he said the word surprise after he had been released from his shackles in the basement or attic or whatever area it was that he was kept in. Little her in the background. And she has a dinner with him, and it's all caught on camera.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing a wire and everything, and she's trying to get him to confess that it was him.
And he's not, and then,
He says the word surprise when he gets up close to her, and she just knows.
Ah.
So she excuses herself because at this point she's an emotional wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes to the bathroom.
And
the camera never sees her come back out.
And what do you know? He somehow committed suicide.
And then just a couple minutes after, on camera, there's no one else but him committing suicide. She comes out and freaks out and calls the cops.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, it turns out, oh no, she actually had the suit on her,
Yeah.
and she orchestrated the whole thing.
At the very end. Because she just knew that he wouldn't admit to it and all of that. But one big thing that we forgot to mention was halfway through, she finds the secondary suit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's the one he's wearing,
Mm-hmm.
but then he made a spare.
Mm-hmm.
And she's able to hide it way before he can get to her. He's in the middle of trying to chase after her and scare her and kill her, pretty much. And she hides the suit, and then it just takes off from there.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
you forgot about the most important thing.
What?
The dog lived.
Yes. Yes, this is actually one of those rare moments.
Horror movies where the dog actually lives. You see Zeus just kind of walk out with her.
Just trotting right along beside her as she's got the suit.
And this look
case.
of relief, like, he's finally out of my life, thank God.
And her cop buddy is there, and he asks her what happened, and she's like, what do you think happened? And he goes, I think he committed suicide. But you can tell he's very reluctant to do it.
Yeah, like, it's just one of those, like, look, girl, you...
Hi.
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 Sounds like you're having way too much fun in here.
Video.
Hi, camera. Bye.
Bye.
But,
my mom, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say before about, like, yes, they do imply during that dinner scene that he is technically admitting to it with his posture, his tone of voice, the things he's saying and the way he's saying it, yada, yada, yada. And when he gets up closer to her, it's implied even more. You guys would have to just see it to understand.
Yeah.
But it is implied in that moment that, yes, darling, it was me. And yes, I got my brother to do that and make me look good so that I could get you back.
Can I talk about my
Go for it.
feelings on it? Like,
Yes!
I'm
Sorry.
it's like, to me, I'm just kind of like, I want to be a little freeform about it. Like,
I like to go in order.
me, I'm kind of like, man, screw that.
Yeah, I know.
But as I was, saying, it's like, there's just so many things that are well executed about the movie. I love the way it looked. I love the score. That was by Benjamin Vosovich. He's like kind of like Hollywood's kind of go-to for like horror movie scores. He actually even did the music for the It films. Elisabeth Moss has just like a great bug-eyed performance of just like mania and like, you don't understand. And just the way the camera kind of moves and how, like, in those like more complicated set pieces, how they were able to do it on just that $7 million budget. There are some movies that cost $200 million that aren't as creative with what they do with the camera as this movie does.
Yeah. I think it really depends on who it is that's directing it.
And sometimes if it's part of like an established brand or something, like, you can't do anything in this, like, whereas this was put out by Blumhouse, and Blumhouse's whole, like, model is, hey, we'll give you just some money to work with, not much, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
which is a great model. Like,
Yes, because as you can tell, something very creative came out of it.
not only that creative, but also profitable as hell, because this made $29 million opening weekend. So it's already made bank at the box office. Really, the only thing I had an issue with the entire movie, we had a discussion about this, is that when it's revealed how the Invisible Man gets his powers is with the suit, which I it's like, I get, it's just kind of a me thing. It's not really anything that gets in the way of my overall enjoyment with it, is that, like, I always thought it was a little bit creepier how the Invisible Man himself just, like, becomes completely invisible, whereas here it's a suit, but it's like, it's still effective. It's just one of those things where I like that kind of creepy body horror aspect of the Invisible Man.
That. I really do.
Yeah.
But there's just something about this version of the Invisible Man that has me liking the severe psychological pain and torture the woman's gone through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I dig that, too. As I said, it's just
I mean, part of it is personal reasons. I've gone through psychological beatdowns.
Oh, boy. You've told me some stories.
From my own grandmother, who legally adopted me. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, this guy nailed it. And that's why I really like how he took more of a psychological approach.
I've heard from some people who don't want to watch this movie because it just seems way too, like,
real,
similar to personal experiences they've had. Like,
but that's the thing. If you can get a movie that is that real to real life,
even with a fantastical aspect to it.
I mean, yes, it will dredge up problems for certain people. Like, I didn't sleep well that night because it dredged up some stuff for me. But it's a great movie. You can't just judge it on, oh, it dredged shit up for me. No. Was it real enough? Yes.
I actually came across this one Letterboxd review that gave it a really high rating.
Mm-hmm.
That just bluntly outright just started going on a tangent of how much this movie reminded, how much he hated his own father, how much he wished he could just kill him and just do things to him, but he couldn't because he was in like a situation like Cecilia was in.
Mm-hmm.
And if a movie can strike a massive chord like that, like,
yes, that's the kind of psychological mumbo jumbo that I like to see in some movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm all for any, like, oh, the Invisible Man got his powers from falling in a vat of whatever chemicals.
Yeah.
Or he was experimented on, or...
he ingested some.
Yes. I am perfectly okay with that. That is some of the most creative shit. But if you want a realistic Invisible Man, like something that could actually be in this time of day,
this is it. And yes. Also,
and I think we're gonna have to end this soon.
I just want to say this. Yeah, I see it, but I just want to say this. You want to know what's another realistic thing about this movie?
What?
As one review put it, it makes, like, it's so realistic that a man would invent impressive technology just to harass a woman. Am I right?
To say the least.
But yeah, go see this. This movie deserves your money and attention. It's getting great reviews.
It's got everything a horror movie usually has in it, and then some.
And hey, our crowd was actually into it.
Psychological warfare.
Stylish visuals, great score, impressive effects, just really great moments of tension, getting your eyeballs to be like, wait, what's going on? Whoa.
It has rape in it, but you don't see it. You only hear of it because of the baby. It has someone actually drugging someone, but you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it either time.
And then it doesn't hold back with violence either, which...
No, it does not.
Anyway, we're going to call it quits for now.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.